The Honeydew with y'all. Thank you for your support. Here's Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the Honeydew with y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. Thank you so much for your support. We've got a lot of new subscribers here in the community, hearing it on YMH Burtcast. I fucking love y'all. Come in. You get the entire back catalog, audio and or video. You get YMH, or excuse me, I said YMH. You get the episode a day early, ad-free, at no additional cost. And if you sign up for a year, you're getting over a month of free episodes. All right? If you or someone you know has that story that has to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. We'll vet them. We do have a lot of submissions. I've even emailed some of you back, and you haven't responded because you probably thought, oh, they aren't interested. We are. It could take a month or so to get to. We got a lot of shit going on over here, so be patient. But I'm telling you, if your story just jumps out, we're having you. And the episodes are just... This one right here we're about to do today is a first-time subject we've ever had on this show. Hell, there might not be a lot of these on TV, all right? Making some honeydew with y'all history here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Scheller. Welcome to the Honeydew with y'all, Joe.
How's it going?
It's going good, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good, living the dream.
All right, well, I love that you're here with us. You have a fucking crazy story we're going to hear. But before we do, where are you in the world right now, Joe?
I'm up in northern Illinois.
Oh, okay, northern Illinois. All right. And how old are you?
I'm 27.
Another young motherfucker. I love it. All right. And what do you do for a living?
I'm a land surveyor.
A land sir? What is actually a land sir? Are you the guys that stand out in the fucking street with the tripod and just look at shit?
Yeah, but my company... We do a lot more with drones and GPS and robots. Drones. So I'm a little bit more high tech than the guys you see on just the side of the road.
Then the Teamsters leaning on the fucking shovels. All right. God bless y'all on your 8-hour lunch break. Okay. This is as I said, this is an episode, something we've never dealt with before. So let me just say this, and I won't get rid of the ending yet. But you were working a job. Your email says, and you found a human skull. Is that right?
Yep, sure did. It was.
All right, stop right there. Don't even there was, because I know you're used to this and you're going to zoom right by it. Walk me through the day. Where are you? What time of year is this? Where are you in the world? What are you doing exactly? And how do you fucking stumble upon this?
So I'm it's about probably 2 Fridays right before Christmas, because I remember it was a Friday, because Fridays we work half days. I think it was December 19th, right around there.
About the time my COVID anniversary, right around there.
So I'm kind of close to Aurora, Illinois, if you know where that is.
I do.
And they're building a new public works building, something like that. And I'm in the woods trying to show where they're going to have to start cutting down trees.
Okay, now at this point of the woods where you are, this is still, obviously I haven't like broke ground yet or anything, because you're out there to do that.
Yeah.
Pre that. But how far away are you from isolation? Or are you very close to a neighborhood?
No, there's a train tracks. There's a main road to get into the surrounding towns. I mean,
so you're not in like the hills of West Virginia type shit at all.
No, I'm probably from like a McDonald's. I'm probably 2 miles away.
Holy shit. Okay, so it's rural for sure.
No, I mean, it's not rural. Like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm the closest. The interstate is 5 miles north of where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm right by Aurora. I'm not far from anything. So I'm walking through the woods, marking where they're going to cut down these the trees so they can clear it and get ready for breaking ground. And it had just rained that day, so I'm not very I'm pretty clumsy. So I was walking and I noticed this tan rock sitting out. And I go, well, I'm not going to step on that because I'm going to break my ankle, and there's nobody going to. I had to climb over a creek to get here. I'm
looks like a dinosaur egg. It looks like a dinosaur egg, bro. I'm about to be a millionaire.
Nobody's going to pull my 250-pound body out of here. So I said, all right, I'm going to step next to it. So I stepped on a stick next to it, and it popped the rock up. I'm like, well, that's not normal. And I turn, and two eye socket look right up at me.
No! Oh, get the fuck out of it. Did you shit yourself or what, bro?
So first thing I did is I had my equipment, and I mean, this equipment's $80,000, dropped it. And I was like, so I actually work for my dad. My dad is the head surveyor at the company, and he's on vacation. He's actually in Maine at the time. So I call him and I said, hey, I think I just found a human skull. He goes, shut up. No, you didn't.
All right, hold on.
Said, no,
are you out there by yourself, or do you have a team? There's not even an assistant with you. It's just you by yourself. Oh, shit. Okay, so first call is to Dad, who owns the company, who's been doing this for fucking probably decades, right?
This year will be his 30th year.
That's what I'm talking about. And he's probably hoped all his life he could find what you fucking found.
So he goes, no way. He goes, that's really cool. And I go, I guess.
I knew it.
He goes, take a picture. First thing. I'm like, I'm not taking a picture of this.
And what year is this?
This was 2020.
You had to think about it. It was last year.
Well, I wanted to make sure I had my math right. No, I found it 8 months ago. Actually, it looks like it might be 8 months to the day that we're taping this.
Wow. All right.
So I do that. I call him and he goes, well, go back to the truck. You know, I'm about half a mile from my truck. I said, all right. Like, he's like, I'm going to call the sheriff's department. We'll get them out there for you. So I get to I go over the wood. I go through the woods over this creek. And I get to my truck and I just throw up. I'm talking all over my truck.
Now, did the skull stick? Was there any flesh on it? Hair?
No.
Did it stink? Was it?
It didn't smell. It didn't have anything. It was
And you knew right away that this was definitely not some Halloween bullshit some kid buried. Like you knew.
I've grew up hunting, so I've seen deer bone. I've seen real bone.
That
and I said,
yellow,
this isn't
brown.
plastic.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I called him, and then I
threw up all over your truck.
And then after that, I ended up calling my wife, and I was like, hey, I found a human skull. And she goes, well, that's gross. And I go, no, a real one. She goes, oh, real what? So and then by that time, the police are calling. They're like, hey, where are you? Where are you? You know, I tell them that one cop shows up. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's go on this hike, man. So we go through there. And then by the time we get there.
And real quick, does he have his hand on his fucking... piece the whole time, wondering if you might be the motherfucker that did this? Because I would make you walk in front of me, and I'd be right on that bitch like this. Like,
I think when he saw the puke on the truck, he probably figured it wasn't me. So he ended up, we got there, and by the time we got there, there's 20 cop cars. The public works director's there. The whole nine is there, and they tape it off, and the sheriff comes up, and he goes, with his Dunkin' in his hand. I remember this.
He rolled up with a Dunkin'.
Kneels down.
Wait, a donut or the coffee, bro?
The coffee.
Okay.
He left the donut in the truck. You can't do both.
All right.
He gets 5 feet away from it and goes, yeah, that's a human skull. We got a murder. And I'm like, what? It was just crazy to be able. And then, so I get back to my truck. My other boss ends up showing up. And we have to go over there and do everything, collect our we ended up couldn't collect any of our equipment for 3 weeks because they had to keep it in place in case there was any sort of stuff on it. They ended up finding shoes and everything like that was around it. So they were like, oh, this could be it. They kept finding all this other stuff. So it took them about 3 months to finally comb the area clear, because this is where that city ended up dropping their roadkill was in this woods, because it was so close to the municipality building. So they had to have a team of bone experts come out and actually check each bone individually that are found by the dogs.
Another raccoon.
That's what it was. Because I guess there's a deer bone and a human bone that you can't tell the difference.
Oh, is that right?
So
I'm pretty sure the skulls look different. I'm pretty sure there weren't a bunch of fucking chimpanzees and shit running back in that area. Anything that resembled us at all. Oh, shit.
And then if we fast forward to the next time I'm at the job site, they make me go out there alone again. As I'm leaving, they say, hey, don't find another human. I go, all right, well, I hope not. They had these little pink flags in the ground where they found bones.
Mm-hmm.
When I say scattered, this was in a 2-acre area. I'm saying from one corner to the other, all over. That animals had drug the bones.
God.
There was one they had to upheave a fox den, and they said they pulled out like 6 or 7 different bones.
The fox are just down there gnawing on a human bone and shit.
Yeah,
Man,
so
savage shit going on out in the fucking woods without us knowing about it.
Yeah, and it was crazy. And then, I ended up talking to, it was just crazy that, the guy that was out there before me doing some other work for our company, he could have been right there and he would have never known because of if it was green at the time. I only saw it because it was winter, so we had no leaves. And I was like, I'm not going to trip and hurt myself. Well, talk about finding something that every surveyor dreams to find. I know it's something gross, but it's a cool. I've had a few guys that I've worked with at different companies that will be looking for a property corner in the wood or in the cornfields because we dig them deeper. And one guy found a full person clothed.
What the fuck? That's buried alive, probably. I don't know.
No, they had a bullet.
Let me have it, Joe. Let me have it.
They were buried alive. Yeah, I guess.
And then they shot him through the dirt. Bro. Yeah.
So, and then if we fast forward a couple more
So
months,
I'm sorry, that person that found the clothed body?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we used to work together at the last surveying company I worked at that was actually out in the boonies.
So are you two like the only two G's that have found dead bodies and you two have a connection?
It's actually really common for surveyors to find dead bodies because we're
humans. We're talking. Yeah. I'm not talking about just animal bodies.
No, humans, because we're out in those spots where nobody thinks that everyone's going to look.
No one thinks cheesecake's going to break ground over here for another restaurant. Yeah,
exactly. But
yeah.
Well, they think that. They know that the guy that ended up doing it knew that they dropped the roadkill there, so he figured, nobody's going to question if it smells, if there's bones over here. So, but we go in those spots and we have to, no matter what. I mean, I was just working at a slaughterhouse the other day, so I mean, we're everywhere that you don't want to be.
Right. Okay. Unlike American Express.
Yes.
Or no,
exactly.
It's Visa. Okay, so American Express never leave home without it. Visa's everywhere you want to be. You're like the anti-Visa. All right.
I am, yes.
All right, so now they know they have a murder. Are you allowed to be there when they take any of that land? Do they ask you? They interviewing you? Are they questioning you?
I did not want to be a part of it. They took my information, but I think because of how young I am, because they could tell right away that it wasn't fresh. And with how young I am, that they were like, well, this person is no way at all suspect.
I see.
So I never got asked anything. I never got interviewed. Never got the rant. Never got the reward. Pretty rude.
There was a reward?
Yep.
How much?
It was $5,000.
Who can't scrape up 5 G's for finding somebody's skull? Who put that reward up? The police or the family?
I think it was the family, so I didn't really want to.
They probably got a drug addict in the family that ran through that 5 like it was nothing. All right, let's let them have it. They have a loss.
Yeah. So, and then it was right. I think it was. I want to say like the 23rd of the same month. My wife sends me this link and says, "Hey, I think this is their press release from the city of the body." So I ended up.
How many days later?
It was like 4 or 5. So it was that next week. Okay. They finally, through dental records and just stuff in the bone, they finally got it figured out.
And was it a male or female? Who was it?
It was a female. She had been dead for 18 years.
Years,
yes.
Bro, hold on. You helped. You found a skull on your work site and helped solve an 18-year-old fucking cold case for real?
Yeah, it gets better, man. It gets better.
Good for you, dude. I love this goddamn show. Go ahead. Tell me more, please.
The boyfriend was already in jail for her disappearance, and they actually found the bullet in her head that could match to his gun. Yep.
They found the fucking bullet in the skull you found, and it matched the boyfriend's gun?
Yep, because he only used a 22 round caliber, so it didn't go all the way through.
Jesus Christ. Holy shit, dude. You helped solve an 18... Well, first of all, congratulations and good for you. I'm sure that... I want to ask you about the family, but how fucking terrible is the Aurora Police Department that this shit's right there for 8... I thought you were going to say 18 months. I really did. They say 18 years.
No, that's why... So I was 9 when this murder happened. That's why they did not question anything.
Holy shit, 18 years? I feel like no one was even really putting half-ass effort into this fucking case.
Well, so that was, I don't know if you knew about Drew Peterson, if you ever heard anything about that.
Why do I know that? Is that Lacey Peterson?
He was a cop out this way that killed like 4 of his 5 wives.
Oh, no. Is that Lacey Peterson husband, or is that a different Peterson?
I don't know. It might be somebody different.
Oh, okay. He killed how many of his wives?
4 out of the 5, I think, or something like that.
He must have loved that one.
But he was a law enforcement officer out this way. So I think a lot of people were focusing on that. So a lot of this stuff got kind of pushed to the side is what their thought process was. Gotcha. Or if this person had put the body underneath a dead deer or something afterwards, you would, I mean, I'm not going to go out there and move over the dead deers to check for under stuff.
No, fuck that.
Not my job.
Right. That's not your job. Yeah. Do you find out how old was this girl when she was murdered? Do you know?
She was 25 when she was murdered.
And do you know it, like the reaction from the family once they were notified? Have you had any contact with them? I would want to fucking thank you. I would.
I kind of, I gave the police my information. I haven't really been super vocal about it. Just because I don't know. I mean, I'd meet them if they were open to it. I'd love to talk to them. She actually had 2 kids at the time. One of them was one of them is my age now, and one of them's a few years younger than me.
So she had 3, and this one's her daughter is killed. Oh, so one of the kids was
the woman that was killed
was one of the 2.
Had 2 kids that were my age.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the mom of the woman killed. Okay,
no,
how old was she?
25,
and had 2 kids already, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Man, they all started young.
So it would have been interesting to talk to them. And I just like to tell myself I gave them kind of like a Christmas present. You know, I finally gave them that closure after 18 years of not knowing. Because I guess in the police report, it said that the day of her disappearance, she was living with her sister, and she had left in a hurry, dropped her kids off at their parents, and left all the candles going in the house and the oven on. So they think that it was kind of a ruse to get her out of the house as quickly as possible. And then she met the person somewhere because there was no forced entry or anything like that. So this case had been open for 18 years.
So wait, I'm a little confused here. What do you mean about the candles and
So when the day of her disappearance, she had dropped her sons off at her mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And when her sister got home, all the candles were still lit.
I see.
And the oven was still on. So her sister knew something was wrong so they think that now they know that the boyfriend had convinced her to leave in a hurry about something. And then
to like, come meet me right away. I need your help.
Yeah.
Or something. She was like, it's an emergency, and she just ran out. Gotcha.
So she left everything going. So, I mean, that could have burnt down the whole apartment complex and stuff like that. So that's how kind of the police knew right away that this wasn't just somebody ran away or did something. So
now, do you know who this guy is, or is there an article on this you could give me a link to that I can include in the post for people to see?
Yeah, I can send you. I'd have to find it. I can look it up. I'd have to Google it and then just send you the press release. They're really vague about it. But like, I don't get mentioned at all.
They don't say hero Joe Scheller. They don't fucking even throw that out, bro.
If I find one more body, I'm quitting my job and becoming a detective. That's all I'm saying.
And then you'll never find another one.
No. Well, they're not finding them out there.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. We need you fucking land surveyors out there. Find these dead bodies for us, man.
Someone's got to get closure. God
damn. So this guy who did this, he was already in prison just because they were like, I'm assuming they had a history.
I think it was her boyfriend or fiance or something along those lines, but I think they had already had him in prison. This is what I've heard from the police, because I had talked to some of them afterwards, so they kind of already knew what was going on. So I knew of all this before the trial and everything like that, and that they had already had him in custody for the past couple of years for her disappearance because they linked enough and they had a jury to prove him guilty of doing it. So he has already been in jail for it. And then this is kind of, now they're trialing him as a murderer, Which
and you
I
didn't go to any of the cases or any of that stuff.
No, I don't think it would have been necessary. I mean, just to say, just to find about. It's a cool story, but I don't think it would have swayed anybody in any sort of direction.
So, how has it made you feel after? Like, do you feel good about helping? Obviously, the lady's gone, but 18 years. I mean, good God, that's enough time to grow an adult.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel. When I found out that she had the two sons and they were my age, it did really feel surreal. I mean, it felt good to give that those people finally have that closure and they could bury their mom. I don't know how hard it would be to know 18 years and just not know.
Well, I'm 48 and you're 27, I think you said?
Yeah.
So what if in 21 years from now, one of these young men reaches out to you? Would you be open to talking to them or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, they could reach out to me tomorrow and I'd be...
Well, hopefully they subscribe. Hey, if y'all subscribe, hit Joe up, man. Hit him up in the comments.
It was like I said. I mean, the first thing that went through my head when I found it was who's out here with me. Because obviously there's no hair, there's no eyes in it, but you don't think that when you find that skull. You don't think, oh, this is old, it's fine. No, you think who's out here right now with a gun.
Right. Who just put this here 10 seconds ago?
And then they're going to see me and then I'm going to be next to them.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that went through my head. And when he told me go back to the truck, I've never walked that fast through a forest in my life. So and then I had to climb over a tree to get over the creek. It was.
How long was your walk back to the truck before you threw up?
It was about a 15-minute walk.
That's a long time. That's almost a mile.
Alone there with your thoughts.
That's what I'm saying. So what is going through your head when you're walking back? And is it daytime still at this point? What time of day?
Early morning. It's probably like 8 a.m. So
right.
At that time, it's still a little dark. It's not crazy out here, but it's still dark. It's quiet. There's not a lot of people because it's right around Christmas time. So a lot of people aren't going to work right now. It's very quiet. So I'm walking there and I'm just thinking, I need to get back to my truck where I know it's safe. I'm going to lock the doors and I'm just going to wait to either die or the police show up.
Did you run?
I walked very fast. Because I knew if I ran, I'd fall and hurt myself because it was icy out. And I'm like, I'm not.
Can't be the white chick in the horror film, Joe.
So I was there. I ended up, I put on some music and I just tried to keep my mind away from anything else.
How long before you threw up?
Right when I got to my truck.
Right when you hit it?
I got to my truck, I opened the door and I turned and just covered our logo on the back of the truck. It was great. What
was it? What was it that finally made you so sick? What turned your stomach enough?
I think that when I left, my fight or flight motion had kicked in. So that's all I thought about. My body said, you don't need to pee. You don't need to do anything.
Freddy Krueger's right behind you.
You need to get to your truck. It's safe. And I got to my truck. I could see the sun because there was no trees. I could see a few cars. Like, oh, cool. If someone kills me here, somebody's going to see it. It's fine. And then my body goes, hey, you know what else would be fun? Throw up right now. So I just
it's intense, dude. Yeah.
Out of pure just adrenaline, fear. And I mean, after that, I've told enough. I bawled my eyes out until the police got there. I was terrified. I mean,
you did.
Oh yeah. And then I cried on the way home. It's just
I'm just picturing right now Keith Morrison with the whole. It was a December morning in Aurora. A normal day in a normal neighborhood, or was it? He'll do that shit.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I see it. It's still a little dark. It's out there in those weird wooded area. A fucking skull pops up. Man, oh man, I don't give a fuck. I'd have been hustling. I don't know if it popped up in the air. I might have kicked it. I still got my JUCO skills, I'm juggling it out there.
Do a nice little scissor kick, see how far you can go.
Still got its molars. So go ahead.
The worst part is, too, that there is an abandoned railroad track there with a boxcar that's been known to have a lot of meth heads chilling out in there. So I thought that's another reason I wanted to get out there, because I was like, what if this was like a drug deal gone bad or anything like that? So I was like, you know what? I need to get out of here. And so you just never know in the woods. I mean, it's I mean, our job is safe most of the time if we don't have to worry about people hitting us on the highway. But I mean, I'm more scared of being in the woods alone right now anymore.
Fuck yeah. Do you carry a weapon on you?
Sometimes, not often.
What's your
anymore.
weapon of choice?
When I worked for my last company, I'd carry my 9mm with me.
Fuck yeah. Okay, good.
But now, a lot of
you got to worry
just
about
because-
animals too in the woods, not just fucking people. Not I mean, you're more likely, obviously, to get attacked by an animal than to fucking find a dead body. Maybe not in that neighborhood, but everywhere else.
But now with the company I work for, because we work for a lot, when I found the body, we do a lot of state work, so I can't do that type of stuff. So I just have a pocket knife with me anymore.
You don't got a little ankle holster or something, Joe? I won't tell.
I can't even touch my toes. What would that do good for me down there?
That's a good point.
Let me lay on my back and grab it real quick.
Lay on your back and just shooting your legs straight out.
Oh no, I've fallen.
Oh shit, man, this is wild. So they start doing it. You say 3 months. They excavate the land. Do they end up putting her whole body back together, or they? I mean,
I think for the most part, from what I've heard, I think some of it might have been pulled to different spots. Just it's 18
animals.
years, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been.
God.
And with the creek there, bones after a while can start to float. So they said if something could have fallen in there, like a pinky toe, that's gone.
Yeah, I mean,
so
what are you gonna do about the pinky?
That's the least of my worries.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real.
I got you guys the skull.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got you the part where you wear the hat. You know what I mean? You all can get the socks part.
Yeah, it wasn't an open casket by any means.
So, has it fucked with you since? I mean, this is recent.
Yeah.
So, have you had nightmares? Have you what's sort of like? I mean, that's a big deal. You found a dead. You didn't just find a dead body of someone who was homeless and wandered off, passed away, or even suicide. You found the body of a life that was taken by another human being. So, how has it affected you?
So those first few nights, I slept really bad, sweats. Woke up screaming a few times, crying,
Screaming.
You know, just not knowing what to feel because, well, I looked up as the skull was moving. So imagine two eyes looking up at you. Not a very good picture.
Scared the fuck out of me. Scared the fuck out of me. Especially, it's not noon. It's not 90 degrees in a t-shirt and shorts. It's fucking cold ass December. Quiet ass still. Oh man, that's the thing. I love the woods. I really do love the woods,
Yeah,
especially
I do
at
too.
that time. But it's always creepy. Yeah, I would no longer be a fan. I'm like, y'all can fuck your camping. I spit all in my drink.
So, you know, and then that bullet hole right here really got to me. That was
Hey, that one right there. Yeah.
it was right between her eyes. It was,
Oh man.
but now I'm not really. I mean, I'm still affected by it. It's still every now and then talking about it and bringing it up. It's just like I mean, I waited a few months to contact you just because it was one of those things where it's like, am I ready to? But I finally, you know, I was like, yeah, I think I am, and you know, just talking it over with people and saying enough times, you realize that, you know, there's nothing that I could have done, but I'm just glad that at the end of the day, these kids finally got to closure.
Joe, let me tell you, I want to give you props, man. That's not nothing you could have done. You did, in your situation, coming across this person, you did everything you could, and what you did was finally give those people peace of mind. Look, you said you have children?
No.
Okay, well, I do. And I couldn't imagine 18 years of being on this planet going by without them. And then all of a sudden, one day right before Christmas, this fucking news comes. I mean, man, oh man. That is a hell of a fucking Christmas present.
So that was, and yeah, it was, I mean, it was crazy. And like I said, I'm just glad I could help. But I mean, now walking through the woods is not as fun.
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself looking for shit?
All the time. I've found if I find a bone I don't know what it is, I like to look around for a few more to make sure it's not anything, because we go into some pretty seedy areas sometimes.
Like where? What are you going?
Like the south side of Chicago and Harlem.
Yeah.
Or Hardy, Illinois. like if we have to clear out certain areas, like to take to show it on like if we have to open up a manhole and if there's leaves on it, we don't use our boots. We'll use a shovel because I've kicked stuff with my boot and had hypodermic needles stuck into the sides of my boot.
That's Baltimore City. Like when you walk down the sidewalk of Baltimore City and at the end of the day you pick your shoes up, you'll have little vials cracked in them and shit like that. They're you're not avoiding it. Yeah.
So I mean, I've been in places where our instruments are very expensive. So we'll have one guy sit there either in the truck or we'll have somebody standing there with just a machete. Hooked onto the side of their belt. Yeah, because a lot of surveyors will wear one anyway. So if they just see us wearing one, a lot of them won't mess with you. But I mean, I've had people tell me stories that in some of the same areas we've worked at where people will just come in with a van and take all your equipment off the side of the road and just leave.
Damn, really? Just pull up, grab it, and go?
One of our equipment's around $60,000.
Holy shit. What's that little yellow thing I see y'all fucking blocking my traffic for and acting like you're staring through a telescope? How much is that thing worth?
So it depends. The one that I use is $60,000. The one that the guy I work with uses $75,000.
Damn.
So
what are you seeing through that thing?
That's actually turning angles based on where it knows itself at. So it's turning angles and it's actually taking the elevation of the ground. So it's just taking a lot of measurements. It's nothing crazy. I mean, it's math.
Well, yeah, I'm not good at that.
Neither am I. That's why my instrument does it for me.
So, do you find yourself disinterested now in shows like Dateline and shit like that, or more interested?
I like to watch them alone because when I watch them with friends, I get a lot of jokes all the time. So, I mean, not that I care about the jokes, but sometimes if I'm really interested in something, I don't want to be joking about it. I get asked a lot when my book deal's coming out.
I mean, has anyone contacted you about this cold case closing or any Dateline or any of that shit like?
No, probably after this, I'll probably get some messages, but yeah, no.
I mean, you solved an 18-year-old cold case. It's a really interesting story. First here on the HoneyDew, we're breaking ground, no pun intended. And, making a little history over here, bro. Man, I really hope someone reaches out to you. It's a story that needs to go out to the masses. I mean, we got it locked behind a paywall.
Yeah, it was interesting to be able to finally do that, or not finally be able to, but being one of those people that, you know, because as a surveyor, where it's kind of a small community, so we all kind of talk, or we talk on Reddit, you know, a lot of us tell stories, and to finally be one of those people that find it and be so young. I mean, most of these guys that have been doing this for 40, 50 years have never even found one.
Yeah. How long were you in it again? 8?
So I started it. I started it when I was 16. I started doing this. So I've been doing it now for, what is that? 11 years. Yeah. So
for
on and off until
you said how old are you? 27 or 8?
27.
Okay. Did you end up finding out, like, did you research the girl yourself and go back and see who she was, what she looked like, and know a little bit about her story, this person you found in the ground?
The article that the newspaper actually released had a lot of that information. And when that had released and I found her name, I wasn't in the right spot to be trying to find that stuff. I was still kind of shaken up for it. I took the next couple of days off work, or next week off work, just to kind of, it's like you said, it's a human life being taken from another person,
right? Or
by another person. And that's just kind of eye-opening to see that people would do that. And then that I find the byproduct of it. You never hear that when the body was found. You never hear about the person that found it because, you know, they're a hero, but yeah, we're a hero to you, but I have to live with seeing that skull look up at me and tried to, you know, it's just walking through the woods is never the same for me anymore. It never will be.
Does Halloween fucking scare you when you see skulls and you jump a little bit? Like,
no, I mean, if like a really good haunted house, but I mean, now seeing them, I'd be like, yeah, that's fake. I've seen a real one.
Yeah, listen, I'm traumatized. That's some bullshit.
You guys don't have anything on me. This is weak. Would you buy this at the dollar store?
Man, you really did. But yeah, you know, I guess so it's 2002 then, if it's an 18-year-old cold case you found in 2020. So there's internet for sure. Mm-hmm. So it's probably out there. Yeah. And it just hasn't gotten to you yet where you want to know who this person is exactly?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably in the next couple of days, after reopening it and seeing how I just want to see how I react from this before I keep digging deeper, because, it's one of those things that.
Well, this community, now they know it. A murder in 2020, your name, a cold case, Aurora, Illinois. They'll find it for you. They'll find it for you.
Yeah, just go ahead and post that.
Like, you're not good with, you're still dealing with this, Joe? Well, here's a detailed article about everything you don't want to know.
Here's everything. Yeah. Have fun.
There's Reddit, subreddits, and all that shit are going to be fucking crazy.
Hey, I mean, if you do what you got to do, it's not. Like I said, it was just crazy to be able to finally do that, and they're not finally, making it sound like it's a goal of mine, but it was interesting to be able to help somebody and be one of those few in Illinois that have found the dead body from the surveying.
Doesn't it fuck with you that you have, this is what's tripping me out a little bit. We all have our own life story. We're all going this way in our own lives. And you literally stepped into this whole other family and person's lives with a sordid boyfriend and who knows what's going on with her family, the kids. Like, isn't that fucking crazy how you were an extra? You were a nobody in these people's lives, and now you've become a main fucking character without ever even knowing them or meeting them or anything. Like, that trips me out, how much of a storyline you are now in their world. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, actually, I never thought of it that way. So now that's even more that's going to mess with my mind a little more.
Talk to your therapist about that one.
It definitely going to be brought up tomorrow. But
you are. You were, somebody to them would have said, hey, how about Joe Scheller? They'd be like, who the fuck's Joe Scheller? And then right before Christmas, Joe Scheller is, you're one of their biggest fucking, you're a main character. You're a main character in that storyline. Yeah, they might. Like, you mean the guy that found the skull? Yeah.
The one that the police, they took all the credit for?
Yeah, right. Yeah, which cop got the $5,000?
I think actually the sheriff took the credit.
That's fucking low. Yeah, we found a body. No, you didn't. Joe's over here throwing up on his fucking truck, crying, just shitting himself.
I'm good. But I've never been that type of person though, where it's like, oh, it's all about me. Like, I should have,
First of all, good for you. Second of all, that's not what this is about. Like, go ahead and fucking have your little 5-minute sheriff. The sheriff can say whatever the fuck he wants. He's a footnote in your fucking story. Remember that.
That's how I look at it. At the end of the day, my family, my friends, people that know who I am, know what really happened. And now all of y'all know what happened. And it was just crazy to be able to, this is, like you said, my life intertwined with these random people that I never knew.
Never even put eyes on. Yeah. Would never.
And then I just pretty much probably made him the happiest. I know the mother was the happiest she's ever been.
I'm sure. And do you know if she was even alive? Like, that's the other thing. Like, man, it would
finally closure.
Yeah, it would suck to be a parent who died during this 18-year shit where they're gone, and then they find her and you don't even fucking get that closure. Like, that would suck. That would suck a lot.
That would be the worst part. And I think both of her parents are still alive, because I think that was something in the article might have said something about it. At least the mother I know is. I don't know if the dad was in the picture.
Well, hopefully those kids have their grandparents or someone, because they're old as you now, one of them you said. So he's a man. But
yeah, one of them's 27, and then I think one of them was like 24, 25 or something like that. So God. They were young. I mean, they were 8 or 9 when it happened.
No, and then for them. So you got a mother missing her child. You've got 2 boys missing their mom. Possibly a husband missing his wife. We don't know. Well, no, she had a boyfriend, but the
boyfriend did it, so he ain't missing nobody.
He ain't missing nobody. He's missing nothing but freedom. That motherfucker.
Well, and then the sister, she doesn't have her.
Do you know if he's still he'll be in prison forever though now, right?
Do you
get life?
I haven't heard anything new about it.
Like, if they give him that bullshit of 20 year life sentence, but you've already served 16, so you're out in 2.
I don't think he's allowed
fuck
to.
That. Okay.
I don't think it's allowed to because of the fact that this is a totally different case now. Because of the fact that this was a disappearance, what he got tried for, and then now this is her murder. So I don't think they're allowed to do that.
Has he been tried? Has the case gone to trial yet?
They said that the case was going to trial quickly, but like I said, I didn't really do any research on it just because of the fact I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared. I didn't know how I would react or what I would do. It's
scared of what?
Just myself, not anything. Like I was just afraid of how I'd react, or I became close to these people and I've never met them. They don't know who I am. And I became close to them because, they lost somebody and I helped find them and then get that closure, where if I were to find out he was found not guilty, mess with me a lot harder than if it was just some random person that if it was just some random news article, it would be like, oh, that sucks. But where this is like, well, why wasn't he guilty? Like I literally saw the evidence I almost stepped on it.
Yeah.
So, why is that not a thing? But I mean, like I said, it was one of those things that I kind of pushed it to the back of my head, which I know isn't a good thing to do, but I was just like, I don't want to think about this right now. I've got other stuff going on. Let's refocus this in 5 years when I think about it. But I guess I can't push it back any farther. It
finally got to you where you needed to get. Are you seeing a therapist or anyone? You talk to anyone about it? Because of this, or was it prior to this?
I've been seeing one now for a few years. Well, because of you, so a few years.
Wow, thank you. Are you for real?
Yeah. Actually,
good for you.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me. I usually listen to you on Monday and then watch you on Friday.
Okay.
So I probably was watching you that morning that I found the body.
Oh.
Usually I watch you on either Tuesdays or Fridays.
On Tuesday. All right. Okay.
On Tuesday.
And you fucking possibly watched the HoneyDew and then went out. Who was the episode? I would love to know.
Well, it was December 19th around that time.
That's what I got covered.
Jeremiah
Jeremiah Watkins was right around then. He was the biggest crier we've ever had. He was in here. Felipe was in here during December, and I think, or he was November. Adam Farrar. We only did like 1 or 2 in December because we were shutting the fucking studio down because it was filthy out here. We were like, let's get away. But it was probably Jeremiah or Adam Ferrara, someone like that in December.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it was probably...
You got the dew on and then went out and found a poor fucking honeydew buried in the goddamn ground.
You were involved.
I'm honored to know I'm somehow involved in helping find this poor lady. That does feel good, dude. I don't care. It feels good. That was the soundtrack. The fucking Dateline episode better have my honeydew theme music running when you find
just me kicking the skull over, and I just hear that laugh coming through my headphones.
Oh man.
Now that's your promo right there.
God damn, dude. So, talking to your therapist, has your therapist, he or she, ever heard anything like this? I can't imagine they have. Yeah. So what fucking advice can some therapist who's never had this experience even give to somebody?
Let's talk through it. And I mean, it's the therapist, she deals with a lot of PTSD, people from over in Afghanistan. So she kind of has that, she's death kind of where she is handling it. But I think the hardest part for both of us is this isn't my family member. It wasn't something that I caused or I witnessed. I just found the aftermath. So I think that's the hardest thing that I'm dealing with is like, why do people do this? And then now I'm finding it 18 years later. And now you're screwing a whole nother it's just a weird thing to try to find.
I don't know what your therapist tells you, but I have an unprofessional opinion, and I think that, look, I'm going to say, like, this is something that's going to pop up in your mind for the rest of your fucking life. There's no way in your 80s you're going to be like, yeah, one time I found a fucking dead body. You know what I mean? It's forever going to be there. I think over the course of time, it will get better because you'll be able to understand it a little more. But what I think you really do need to lean into, and this is coming from a parent, is that you fucking found this girl, and sure, you were 9 years old when it went down. There's nothing you could have done to save her, but you really gave that family peace, and you know, and you fucking solved the case. Like, that lady's been laying out in the fucking woods for 18 fucking years. It'd be nice to have her cremated, buried, whatever it is that they'd wish, and give her proper respects, because, you know, what an ultimate disrespect to be fucking murdered and dragged in the woods, and then you're just out there doing whatever. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So you really need to look into, lean into, excuse me, that you may not have saved a fucking life, but I feel like you saved a family's sanity. At least they know what's going on and what happened, and they can now definitively say, hey, because even if you thought the boyfriend did it and you didn't have 100% fool proof, there's always a doubt in your mind, like, what if it was someone else? What if it was so-and-so? What if it was a random? What if she did go out in the woods and fucking shoot herself? Well, she didn't bury herself, so yeah. You know.
So actually, she was never buried. He shot her in the head and left.
And what? Just over time, the skull went under the ground?
Well, the skull wasn't totally underground.
Hold on. Whoa. I got to stop. I'm sorry. He just left her there like that, clothed and everything, and for 18 years, no one found that fucking body?
Threw a deer carcass over her, and then they just let those decompose.
I see. He covered it with a dead deer. Jesus fucking Christ. So that's why, like you said, the smell doesn't affect anybody, and one's going to go lift that shit up and look. And
exactly. And then they think that the skull could have just been buried, because it wasn't totally buried. Like, I could see the back part right here. They think that it just over time, sediment moving around, animals trying to save whatever they could. Because they said they lucked out that most of her teeth were still there, because rats will eat the teeth because there's enough calcium in there to survive them through the winter.
Really?
Yep. So they said a lot of the time rats will take the teeth with them to their dens and stuff like that and eat on them throughout the year.
So these people have seen this so many times. They know that rats eat human teeth.
They were sitting there eating donut. It's the normal thing for them. Drinking a cup of coffee. It's my Monday. I mean, whatever.
What was it that they ultimately used to identify her? Was it dental records? Was it DNA? Like, was there a
dental and I think some sort of DNA from the bone marrow?
Okay.
But I don't think there was a whole lot of that. But I think they can piece it together enough of the dental records, because they said that most of her teeth were still there, but they had to find her bottom jaw to be sure.
It was off?
Yeah.
So the animals really ripped her apart then.
Well, and they said that so when I don't know if you know anything about this, your skull is not smooth.
Yeah. I took human anatomy and physiology. This skull was
smooth.
So
like it had been rolled from the rain, rolled around, dragged
years
of just rain. I mean, Illinois, we get snow, rain in the same day. So it was getting just pounded with the elements. It finally it rounded itself off. So that skull or that jaw could have just fallen off one of the 12 times it was moved, you know?
Sure. And there's no saying where that skull, where you found it, was not necessarily where she was shot and killed.
They think that it was actually pretty close because of the majority of the bones that were there. They said that they found a big pile right around that area. So it's not, and there's nothing big enough out there that could drag a full human around.
No bear out there or anything like that?
No, we don't have a whole lot of bears, just the football team. So they think that that's kind of like, well, within 10 or 15 feet of that area, because it was right under some brush, some low-lying tree, you know, but who knows 18 years ago what that could have looked like.
Man, that's heavy, dude. That's heavy. You found a human. You found a fucking person, a real person that had family and fucking friends and loved ones right before, well, and it was 18 years ago. Do they know the month she was killed? Like, do they know the time frame she actually was killed?
I don't know about that. I didn't, like I said in the article, it didn't really have they just had found who it was. They said they had found a missing person and they were pursuing action with it. And then they gave her name.
Took credit for it.
Yep. I mean, so, and then just hearing through my cousin's cousin works for the police department for the state, for that town. And he kind of filled me in on some stuff that was happening. So
So
heard it here first.
What has your therapist told you?
It's just like kind of along the same lines what you said. It's not, there's nothing you could have done. It was, you know, at the end of the day, you're saving you're not saving a person, but you're helping a family get through it and saving that family. And I don't want to say I have guilt. I just kind of,
but talk about that, because I know of like survivor's guilt. I've heard of things like that. People on airplanes that like maybe 5 people live out and they have this horrible survivor's guilt. Like, why me? You know, and I imagine you've asked yourself at least, why me? Why am I the guy that fucking found this and solved this case?
Yeah, it's definitely, I have asked myself that some nights, you know, like, why am I the one that found it? Or what in the universe said, you know, you need to find this and it'll be fine. And then just getting that connection. And I feel a little guilty, but like you said, I couldn't have done anything, but you feel that guilt where it's like, man, or my big thing is the guilt that what if I would have never found it? Because the next couple of days they were having these big trucks come in that would have just crushed it and you would have never seen it again.
Is that right?
Yeah. Cause to cut down the trees, what they do in Illinois is we have like pretty much a backhoe with just a giant saw on it that they run and can just clear cut trees at one time because they're so thin. So
damn.
If a tree would have fallen on it, you would have never seen it again.
Right.
Or they would have never thought twice about it. Right. Yep. Because, hey, this is where we used to drop deer. So any bones, don't worry about it type stuff. So, you know, why did I find it 3 days before they were supposed to be able to? Like, obviously there's got to be a reason. So it was just, I think I live more with the, what if I wasn't paying attention, or what if I didn't go to this tree to take a leak and then I found it?
I mean, all these things, think about this. Let's go back even deeper. Your father has a son who's going to solve this fucking murder. Think about that. Think about how all the way back it goes.
Yeah,
okay.
True. I mean,
and also think about this, because I'm tripping on this. 18 years. How many people do you think walked right fucking by and or over that area in 18 years? It had to be more than just you.
Well, the other guy, we were going to look in to see, because he had originally done the topo of the area. So he had shot up, you know, any of the elevation, any of the trees and stuff like that. And we were going to, if I would have shot it with my GPS, we could have seen how close he had put a shot. Mm-hmm. So but I was not thinking about that when I found that. So I didn't do that. But I know some of the guys that work there used to play paintball back there.
That's what I'm saying, right?
So, you know, like it's kind of, at the end of the day, I don't think I had a choice. I think I was going to find this.
It chose you. It did.
Yeah, and
it found you. It looked right at you, Joe.
It
made eye contact, for Christ's sake.
It's rude to ignore people when they make eye contact. So, yeah, I mean, it was...
Be honest with me about something. When that skull popped up and it made eye contact with you, did you let out a or a gasp or anything? What was the immediate reaction of you know, a visceral reaction?
My first words were, no fucking way.
Did your knees buckle like, Jesus Christ?
I stumbled back a little bit, and luckily I had just peed.
On it?
Because I was like,
how close did you pee to it? Don't lie to me. All right.
15 feet. I had to tell the police that my DNA is over there, so ignore that.
It also jerked off over that. That's got nothing to do with the body.
After
Found the body
finding the skull. After.
That's not a bullet hole, actually.
It's been a long week. But no, I let out a little like, what the no, and then I stumbled back and I go, I gotta call my dad right now. And then he's like, well, you should probably go to the truck.
Do you still have the picture of the skull on your phone?
I do. So I have the picture of the tape, the police tape around it, and you can see the back of the skull popping out. You have to really zoom in, but I kind of have it circled. It's not a very great picture because I was doing this when I was trying to take it. I was like, yeah, this is fine.
Throwing up like, oh, shot over here. What?
My second one.
How often do you look at it?
Not often, actually. When people ask. I got to go back. Actually, I don't look at it often enough. I have to go back and try to find it. So it's not like it's a normal thing.
Let me ask you this. I know from my own personal traumas and things, when you go through something, I've never been through anything like this, but when you go through something traumatic, there are these vivid moments, pictures, if you will, that are burned and frozen in your head. What still images do you see from this? Like, and what flashes do really stick out?
So like if I'm having a nightmare about it that I have sometimes.
You have a recurring one? It's just always the same?
It's the same one. I mean, I probably once every couple months. It's not like it's every single night or it's,
Smoke weed, bro. Joe, you got to smoke weed. You won't even dream. You won't even dream. You'll do that fucking REM shit that you don't remember, but you won't even dream.
I wish I could, but because we do federal work, it's still not legal, so I can't.
These motherfucking feds.
But it always starts with me just walking in, hitting the stick, and it putting up right at me, and then it flashes to me climbing over this the logs that I had set. I had actually set those logs so I could cross the creek, and it cuts to that and me just looking down at myself and just wanting to get back to the truck. And then my next thing I remember the sheriff's face. Like I could, if you gave me a lineup of 100 guys all dressed the exact same way, I would know exactly which one he was.
Really?
I can picture it. It's a very square face with a very light brown. He's got an extended jaw and a mustache, and just how his eyes looked. He had like a wart or some sort of thing right here. I can just picture him like he's sitting right here. Like I have a picture of him. I can just picture that right there next to me.
Wow.
And then, but my main one that when I'm talking about it, that my brain just keeps going back to, has to be either the vomit covered truck. I don't know why.
You see that, like the aftermath of that?
Just that, and me having to go to the car wash. Or just
fucking so true. Now the next time I'm at a car wash, I'm gonna think like that car right there might be getting washed because that guy threw up on it and found a dead body.
He found a body.
Yeah. You never fucking know. It's crazy, dude.
Or that snapshot of me just turning down, and it's never, when I think about it, it's never me looking at the skull. It's like me from a third person looking at me. That's what I want
to ask you. Are you hovering over yourself, seeing what the scene play out? You're not your own point of view. When you look down, you're looking down and seeing you, not your legs.
I'm looking as if I was from that, the bridge I made.
Right.
Like I could see I couldn't make out anything. I can't hear myself, but I can see myself enough through the woods where I'm like, I know exactly what's happening. I can see myself starting to walk, and I can see myself kind of perk up when I see the rock because I don't want to slip. And then I can see it all play out. And then it like fast forwards to me walking the cops through the woods to find it. And then it fast forwards to this, and it fast forwards to this. And it's like, but it's all still there watching from third person, but it's just like you just hit fast forward on the VHS. So it's
whoo,
and usually
Joe.
If I have a dream like that, I'll wake up and then I'll go back to bed and be fine.
Are you waking up screaming or anything, or just disturbed?
Just waking up like, what? And then I realize I'm back home and I just go right back to bed.
Do you know her name? I can't remember if I asked you because
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Do you know her first name?
I don't know how to pronounce either of her names.
You don't know how to pronounce any of it.
So,
bless that poor lady.
That leak.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
please.
email that link.
Listen, man, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this story. This is fucking awesome, man. You really helped the family and closed the cold case. That's crazy. Good for you, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I really do appreciate you coming on. And look, for those of you out there who have a story that needs to be heard, look, you don't need to be a Patreon member, and it doesn't need to be you. If you've got someone you know that's like, my grandfather's a great motherfucking story. Look, I want to hear from them. Let's hear these stories. This is unlike anything you've heard. This is fantastic. Joe, again, thank you so much. So if you have that story, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Be patient. We'll get back to you. We're going to look through all of them. And again, $5 a month, all right? If you're new here and you're considering staying longer, go for the year. You'll get over a month of free episodes. You get the entire back catalog, video and audio options, as well as the Honeydew a day early, ad-free. All right. Thank you all so much for your support. I sincerely appreciate it. Come out and see me on the Night Pants Nation tour, y'all. We'll talk to y'all next week.